most people out there listening probably have a pretty decent idea of who I am, and not necessarily for the right reasons. I would probably say you've seen me yell at a reporter. You've seen me in mugshots. You've seen me incarcerated. That was a life. So this for me is a show of gratitude, right? In that, I mean, all day I'm going to be talking about how grateful I am for this opportunity. I became friends with Rich over the last year, and he has allowed me to come on his show, really flourish in what I've been trying to do. I was a broadcast journalism major at Washington State when I graduated, so this is what I wanted to do, but I just had no identity. I was this failed football player in a lot of people's eyes, in particular mine. And when I heard people say bust, I internalized that. I heard you are not only a terrible football player, but I heard you're an awful person. And that's just who I was. And I just let that consume me. And I went down this path of destruction that took me to a place where I had to either figure it out or essentially die and just disappear. And when I walked out of that prison cell, which wasn't like it was 10 years ago or anything, this was 4.5 years ago when I walked out of there, and I had no idea what was about to happen. I had no money. I had no prospects. There weren't women lined up around the corner to date me or anything like that. I had hope. I developed that while I was in there and how I became of service to others. And I watch people who have platforms like Rich, Dan Patrick, other people, Ellen DeGeneres, that have platforms where they can make positive change, and they are being of service, getting to do something they love. So after I got fixated in that world, especially here in Los Angeles, where I was part of being of service, I wanted to do what my goals were always been, and that was to call football games, to be a part of the sports world. My dad and I would sit at the table in the mornings and do this. This is going to feel like that to me. Like we're sitting across from each other in the morning with my pops talking sports. My mom would be listening in the bedroom, and she could tell what season it was depending on what kind of stats we were talking about, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball season. And it's brought me full circle. So about 3.5 years ago, my fiance Anna and I sat down and said, we're gonna build our life out together. And she really, point blank asked me, like, what do you want to do? What is it? And I said, well, I'd really love to do what Kirk Herbstreit and Joel Klatt do. That would be the dream job in some form. And because of my relationship with Jay Glazer, he made an introduction to Eric Shanks over at Fox Sports. And I literally just sent him an email and said, hey, I'd love to do this kind of job. I'm willing to do anything to do it. I'll fetch Joel Klatt's coffee for a year or 2 years, whatever you need. And he came back. He said, let's see what we can do. And he said, Joel takes it with 2 creams and a sugar. And away we went. And then it started small. And it just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. Right now I have my own radio show on Sirius XM every morning where we talk Pac-12. I've gotten the opportunity to finally call those college football games for the Pac-12 network and other networks as well. And then the opportunity presented itself to do this. So usually when news like this breaks, you always get the Twitter monsters, the Twitter trolls that,
sure, of course,
that show up, right? And they love the little one-offs. And the favorite ones I always get is like, I wanted to answer those questions before they even had to ask them, right? So if you're watching it out there and you're asking the question, is that all-time NFL bust Ryan Leaf hosting the Rich Eisen show? The answer is yes. That is true. Another question usually like, I thought the guy was still in prison. And I usually joke with that one. I was like, Rich has some pull. He got the warden to give me a furlough.
Work
I have to go back.
It's like he got game, pretty much.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
I get to come out and convince my son to go play basketball at UConn or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Big state.
So I'm super grateful for the opportunity. I think that second chances, third chances, and fourth chances in this country are what this country is about. The question is what you do with them. Now, if you continue to be who you are and nothing changes, then nothing changes, right? No matter where you go. There was always an issue wherever I went in the NFL. Whether when I left San Diego, I always kind of thought San Diego was the problem. I go to Tampa and to Dallas. No matter where I go, there I am is the line I like to use. And it's so true. If you're not willing to make this 180-degree lifestyle change and change your life, nothing's going to change.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.